Welcome to another video from DIY Daily, and we're looking into the check brake wear light on this 2015 Vauxhall Movano today, same as the Renault Master. Quite a bit of a pain of a problem sometimes these. This one come into us with the rear pads on the metal. I've put new distant pads on it, and the pads come with the wear sensors built into them, and we've still got the light on, so we've had to look into it a bit further. Just before we get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you click on the red subscribe button below to make sure you don't miss out on any future content. But we're going to just run through some of the basic bits and just show you where some of the common issues are to check. So we've had quite a few faults, quite a few wiring issues with some of these now, so I'll just show you the common areas, and I've put some links to some of the parts used in the description below if you want to check that out at any point. But we'll get the van up in the air and get the wheels off, show you what we've got to do. Yeah, so we've got the vehicle up in the air now and the wheels off. They've got two pad sensors on, one for the rear and one for the front. The rear one's on the driver's side and the front one's on the passenger front. This one actually come in with the rear brakes, where the pads are on the metal at the back there, so we put new distant pads on it, and the pad warning light stayed on, so we had to look a bit further. So with the pad light on, obviously the first thing we want to check is the pads. Which at the back here, we've got a new setting there, so we know the sensor's good. And a short tail of the sensor comes in with the actual pads itself built into them. And we can see there it's alright. Obviously these are brand new, so there's plenty of wear left on them. We'll just go to the front. Just see through the gap in the caliper there that there's plenty of meat left on the pads. There's the disc and there's the pad material there. Just spin that slightly, you can just see it a bit clearer. So there's plenty of meat on the front pads there. Obviously you want to be checking the two wires in the bit of loom as well. You might have to just either cut that back or just prise it back to check that. But we've had a good look at that and we know that the wire itself is alright. The next thing we're going to check. So now we know that's okay, the next thing we're going to do is check the next bit of wiring. You just see the connector there, that's your brake pad, the wiring on the end of the pad there, which goes into this next section of loom, and that just loops under and then has another joining connector just above the axle there. These are quite common sections. I've put links in the description below to where you can get them from. But basically you want to be using your multimeter with a continuity setting and just checking between each side of the connector, checking for continuity through it to see if you've got a break in the wire anywhere. I'll show you how to do that on one of the bits of loom in a minute. From there, if that section's okay, we have had them sometimes, just try and get it a bit clearer on the camera, in this section of loom across the top there, they can sometimes rot out in there, and then that follows down along the body. You can just see that there, it goes along the side of the fuel tank, and there's a block connector just up the side of the fuel tank here. Now there's two wires in there, the two smaller ones, which join to which are part of the loom at the back there. But we have had the wiring rot out in this section of loom there, so it's always worth just checking that as well. But yeah, if you can part that, you'll just be using your multimeter. It's quite a long reach, but most multimeters will just about do it. And you just want to check for continuity through them two wires right there. And then the last piece we're going to check is we're coming back round to the front here. So we've got it off at the minute, but this is where we found our issue on this one. You have a little joining wire from the pad sensor here, which goes up to a connector on the inside of the body there, so it was the problem on this one. Basically we tested it with a multimeter. So if you've got your multimeter, all you want to be on is the continuity setting, which is that one there. And if we just show you how it works, it's a really simple test. When your two probes are joined together, it makes a bleeping noise there. And all we're doing with that is just simply having one probe on one side of the connector there, and the other side on obviously the other end of it there. And this has actually got two breaks in it. It's not got continuity through both wires. So. But if you look at this end of the loom, this is where they normally go on these. You can, it's a bit hard to sort of show you on the camera, but you can just see and it looks like the brake, I'm pretty sure the brake on this one is just in that little bit there. That is where they normally go on them. So but yeah, so we just need this little section of wiring harness, but I'll put links in the description below to where you can get them from, because they are quite common issues. So but they're the three main bits to check really when you've got the pad wear light on. So hope the video helped. If it did, give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.